quickly reflecting back on that win over Peterborough, that late goal from Giovanni Brown and the incredible scenes at the end, you couldn't have asked for much more from your first home game, could you?
No, we couldn't. It was a brilliant day for the whole football club. Even just arriving at the stadium, the welcome the supporters gave me on the way in, and I believe the players get that every single week, which is fantastic and shows the togetherness and the real family feel that we have here at Exeter City. But then for the game as well, I thought we played extremely well in the game. Dominated the first half, should have been leading at half time, and then second half to lose such a late goal, it felt like another, similar to Argyle, where we played extremely well and we were going to lose to one of the bigger teams in this league. But the character, the determination, and the support in terms of, they never gave up. With 9 minutes to go, losing a goal, you'd expect some to leave, some to get a bit disappointed, but it never happened, and it all came together to produce a fantastic finish and a great 3 points.
And of course, the connection with the supporters is something the fans really, really appreciate. The players, and we saw that at the end with the post-match scenes. I think you encouraged as many of the players as possible over towards the big bank. Is that sort of part of what you saw when you first looked into this job? Is the connection that the supporters have with the players?
Yeah, I actually spoke to Perks after the game, and we were amazed at the positivity. There was no negativity towards the players, and that's rare in football, in modern day football especially. There was a real warmth, a real support that I could feel. There was in the difficult moments, the crowd go a little quiet, but there is no negativity whatsoever. So to be allowed to kind of win the game and thank the players for that was brilliant. I have to apologise, I didn't go over at the Adam Stansfield stand, and that was in my excitement, but this week I'll make sure I go over, because it's the whole stadium, it's not just the big bank, but a fantastic feeling at the end of the game when you are involved in football as a player, coach, staff member, supporter. It's for those moments that you are involved, so it was great to have that in the first game.
I'm sure you're forgiven for not going over. I think most importantly, it seemed like everyone came through that game unscathed, and of course Jonathan Grounds returned as well, so no new injuries and players coming back.
Yeah, no new injuries, another hard week physically on the grass. Having Groundsy back was actually quite funny. I did say after the game we should have probably told him, but we'd done a lot of work on the pre-mortems on Friday afternoon, and we probably should have told him he was a part of it. But when I shouted down, he pointed at Rakeem, then he pointed at Keggs, and then he pointed at himself, and I said, yeah, you're the one. So it was a bit unexpected for him, but the boys have given him a bit of stick for his, I think it was about a minute and a half cameo. So but that just shows what it takes, that the finishers have to be ready to either come on and win the game or come on and see out the game, and that was Grounds' role on Saturday.
Sonny Cox was absent from the bench, and he was absent from the Youth Cup game on Tuesday. A minor strain, I understand. He's
got a minor strain in his adductor, I think, so it's something he's been carrying and hasn't been getting any better, so physios have decided to just take him out and try and get on top of it. So hopefully it's not too long, but we'll kind of keep seeing how that progresses week to week.
Let's focus on the matter at hand then. Ipswich on Saturday, second in the league. They've only lost twice this season. On paper, it's a tough game, but we don't fear anyone in this league, do we?
We don't know, and on paper, we've said it, we've got a really difficult run of games, but that's on paper, and we proved last week that we can compete with these teams. We have to be 100% right in possession and out of possession, but Ipswich will pose as difficult or even more difficult a task than Peterborough did on Saturday, so we have to be prepared, but we have to be ready to play our way and to play on the front foot and try and win the game. It
was 2015 the last time we had a regular season match on TV. We've now had 3 this season already, so the Sky cameras are down, which is that extra incentive for the players there.
Yeah, I think so. It allows them to not only show our own supporters how good we are, it allows them to show a wider audience that we are a club on the up. We are a club that plays a really attractive brand of football. So it's a great opportunity for the whole football club really to show itself off in a positive way.
seen any new haircuts knocking about the training ground this week?
None so far, no. None so far. I haven't managed to get there either, so we'll see what comes on Saturday morning.
Again, I know I keep saying it every time we seem to talk really, but we mentioned that run of games and the teams are playing all in the top 6, but Plymouth, Derby, Peterborough, 4 points from those 3. Perhaps more once we've played Ipswich on Saturday. You must be pleased in the early stage of what you've seen, that when we're competing against these sort of former Premier League Championship teams.
Yeah, and I think that has to be our mentality, that we have to compete. That is why we're in this league. That is what the excellent season last year allowed, was to give us this opportunity to compete against teams that have been at a higher level recently, that are competing up the top end of this league. But we shouldn't fear those teams. We shouldn't be afraid of these teams. We have to be prepared tactically. We have to be mentally and physically ready for the challenge. But they are only 11 players, and as we showed last week, even in adversity, after going 2-1 down, we can still rise to win games of football against teams that are up the top end of this league. So Saturday will be tough, I've no doubt about that. I've watched Ipswich in great detail, but we have to be ready to do the same as we did last week.
Earlier this week we said goodbye to Scott Brown, a real character, as he joined Matt Taylor at Rotherham. What are the initial plans for Scott's replacement now, obviously on the playing side and from a coaching perspective?
Yeah, well, we've opened it up for people to apply, but Kevin Miller has come in at short notice, which is great to have him here. He's working with the goalies in the interim period, and then we're kind of seeing what goalkeepers are out there, coaches that can apply. I think that finished this week, so we'll look to see and cut that down to a short list and start interviewing. But it's great to have Kevin here and supporting the goalkeepers and preparing them for Saturday in the short term.
Also this week, a superb win for the under-18s in the FA Youth Cup, 3-0 at Forest Green. It's probably I don't know how much you've seen it or seen many of those players, but the first opportunity for you to sort of, we talk about how good our academy is, and another excellent performance from them on Tuesday night. Yeah,
it was a brilliant result. It gives them, I said to Pewey, for me, the result doesn't matter in development football, but in that competition it gives you another big game. So for the players, it's another experience that they can learn from, that they can get better from. So hopefully it's a home draw, and I can get to the game to see the game, because it would be good to see them in a match environment. I've seen a few of them in training, been really impressed by them. So hopefully we can get a game that kind of attracts a big crowd at home, and I can be there to see them in a really big environment, a big experience for the players again.
And sticking with the FA Cup, Woking played Oxford last night. Oxford were the winners of that one, so that's confirmed our tie for next weekend. Oxford beat us a few weeks ago at home, but it's the Cup and it's a team in our league. We don't, it's a great opportunity to get into round 3.
It is, yeah. That regardless of who it was, I think it was going to be a difficult match away from home, so we'll be prepared when it comes. I think the FA Cup is a special competition. I said the last round, it's important to win these rounds and get you to a stage where you could get one of the big boys at home again, and give us that opportunity, similar to the youth team, that we get an opportunity to experience a big occasion, and it's important we try and get through that when it comes.
And finally then, your first big test as manager, really, regardless of football, is the fans forum on Tuesday night. I know you've met some of the fans at games, but they get to sit down and grill you. You and Perks next Tuesday. It'd be great to see a lot of the fans there.
It will be brilliant. Yeah, they can grill Perks, but they can't grill me. They've just been so nice, to be honest. It's unique, I think, in modern football, how welcoming they've been. So fingers crossed they don't change next week and start grilling me, but looking forward to meeting them in the flesh. Like I said last week, when I turned up at the stadium and seen the welcome, not just myself but the staff, the players get, it's brilliant, and that positivity has to continue, because it's a huge part of why we won last Saturday and why we will continue to win games. We need their support.